Greetings, fencers. The next verses of the Zettel are as follows. Schwäch, Stärk, and Indes. Remember that, so that you can teach others to attack and defend with the art. If you are easily frightened, you'd better not learn fencing. From the crossguard to the middle of the blade is the Stärk, or strong. With the Stärk, it is easy to resist your opponent in the bind if he gets on it. Generally, we want the strong or overbind. We want our tip over their sword so they slide down to our strong. If they try pushing, they will not be able to force our sword and will have to waste a motion in order to get out, while we can work to our hit. In order to get and keep a strong bind, we want to point the sword tip over their shoulder. This guarantees their force goes down to our strong. On our left side, the sources generally say to use the long or front edge, which means crossing our wrists, but we can also use the short edge. From the center of the sword to the tip, the sword has a schwäch, or weak. With it, you won't be able to resist an opponent. In fencing, we want to keep our weak safe. If someone catches it forwards, they can usually just immediately thrust, so often keeping it pointed slightly up and to the side will help it not get controlled. But if it does get controlled, our priority is getting it safe, and that often forces us into specific motions that we must do, like durchwechseln, suchen, abnehmen, or schnappen. The strong bind is more valuable because we have access to the immediate hit, be it a cut or a thrust if our opponent doesn't react. But in order to block our direct cut or thrust, they may move into a deliberate weak bind, which is a hanging position, covering the center line and head. They felt we were strong, so they went weak in the bind to cover the openings. So our strong bind forces a reaction from them, and we get to use Indes to react to their reaction. Indes is the meanwhile or in the moment, where we react to the feeling of the blade to make our choice, using moments between fencing actions where we use this knowledge, and feeling to take the fore, either using Indes to keep the fore, or from the after and our displacement to take the fore. Often if they are strong in the bind, we go weaker, or if they are weak in the bind, we go stronger. Here the fencer on the right cuts and feels the fencer on the left is weak in the bind, so he shoots the point for a direct thrust. Here the fencer on the right cuts and feels the left fencer go hard in the bind, so he takes off above to cut to the other side. Here the fencer in white cuts and feels them only slightly hard in the bind, so he pushes hard towards the head, he feels them go hard in the bind, then goes weak to cut around. Here the fencer on the left cuts and immediately leaves the bind to cut around. The fencer on the right feels the sword leave and cuts in between. Here's the same situation, but with different fencing actions. Understand these things correctly, but above all, do not forget the concept of Indes. In all techniques you will do, you will be a good master. This section together is the 5 words of Lichnauer. Vor, nach, schwäch, stärk, Indes. The whole art of fencing is based in these things.
Thanks for watching, keep studying, keep practicing.